Alright, so welcome to our video tutorial about the Efreet Nacht, a suit that has three costs ranging from cost 350 to 450. So we're going to go over the Nacht that has native cost of 350 today. I'm going to show you how I build it, how I play it, and how I think some of its combos work, and how you can utilize its kunai very effectively, as well as what melee weapon to use because of modifiers to its combo values. So, essentially, the Noct is a stealth and jamming suit. It was the first jamming suit, if I remember right, in the game, followed by the Mine Layer months later. But it is the first jamming suit in the game. It is the also one of the, I think it was the last Efreet added? Yeah. No, the second last Efreet added. The DS was the last one. So, the Efreet Nacht, especially at 350 cost, is very powerful. Alright. Its cold kunai do an immense amount of stagger potential and damage for basically what's on the field. We'll go over how kunai work, but in our little gameplay section. But really, right now, I want to go over the difference between the single and double kunai. Basically, the single kunai is like a stagger. It's like the normal thing that happens when you get neutral swung by an enemy. Your suit gets knocked back a little bit, staggers back, and you're fine. The two times cold kunai, though, is a heavy stagger, sends the suit to the knee, much like when, say, you get hit by the Zaku 2 FSF, the Shimatsu Nuka custom, or you get shot by the Desert Gym. Something along those lines. It's a heavy stagger, sends you to your knee, but doesn't completely knock you down. Um, the arm gatling it does okay damage. It has an okay stun buildup. It's if you're in the pinch, it's okay to use. I wouldn't say avoid it. I say just use it sparingly. It's not your primary engage. But here's the thing. So the free Kai, not Kai, Noct has two melee weapons: the single cold blade and the dual cold blades. The single cold blade has a higher power value, but the dual cold blades have a lower power value. But here's the difference, right? The dual cold blades, all their attacks have a larger AoE, and the three swing combo, the downswing does not lose any power, like barely any power. In fact, your downswing is going to do a lot of damage. You're not going to lose any damage off dual cold blades like you would do on your single cold blade. So therefore, dual cold blades, if you have them, are probably the best thing to run on them. Preference says, some people I know, they prefer the single cold blade still, but it's all personal preference. At level 1, I put a thruster control part for force injector. I put level 1 anti-beam and anti-ballistic armor, mostly because there's those values and bring up the scale. And I run levels 2 through 4 of enhanced melee program. Go ahead and fit if you don't have any. If you're not up to these tier of mods, go ahead and just throw on maybe some health parts, lower thruster control, as much melee program as you can, and as much ballistic and beam resistance as you can. Just try and work that in. Maybe a reload part, because your arm gatling is a ballistic weapon. If you get caught out, it's your only real ranged weapon that's going to cause reliable damage. Other than that, let's get into some gameplay and talk about the kunai a little bit more. We're going to use it on probably one of its more effective maps, because it is not open whatsoever, is Abandoned City. Deserted City is also really good. Impact Site works well for the suit, and Port Base. I think the only map the suit really struggles on is just Tropical Desert, due to how open it is. It becomes a normal suit. You can see it coming from a mile away, just like a pixie. So essentially here, the single kunai has a soft stagger, just a normal stagger, as you can see right there. But the double kunai has a heavy stagger, which is going to send the enemy to their knee. They have a longer cooldown, of course, and they only have one charge. But here's a combo I like doing. If you can predict, you can see that your single kunai is going to hit, go ahead and while it's in midair transit, prep your double kunai. So say if you're like trying to peek in this corner and you see that support, go ahead, because soft stagger is going to lead into your heavy stagger, going for the melee. And always, if you have the dual swords, hit your 3-hit combo. It is very important to do so, since you don't lose any damage whatsoever on your swings. So, here's the thing. So, running it back a little bit. My cold kunai are both off cooldown. Right? They're both ready to go. So, this gym command here, gonna predict, ready, and go. The heavy stagger right there is gonna allow me to get in, close the gap, get the stagger off with my melee, and finish the kill. So just remember that. Your double kunai will make you have to actually stop moving to throw them. Unlike your single kunai, which allows you to keep running, as you can see right in here. You have to stop, which makes it relatively harder because you got to predict a little more, which is why I really suggest leading in with the single cold kunai, because you're forcing the enemy to stop as well. It's a lot easier when you're if you're both in moving moving parallel to each other. Since you have to stop for your double kunai, why don't you just force the enemy to stop yourself, be ready for it, close the gap. You feel me? The arm gatling does, negligible damage. It's faster than Vulcan's a little bit, maybe. Don't quote me on that one, but it does moderate damage as well. The suit really lacks ranged options, but the thing is, this suit can, if the enemy does not pay attention to their radar, they won't see the jamming. You'll be able to get in and kill a support before anybody can even realize what's happening. You'll be able to one-shot support no problem. So we're going to test it on this gun cannon mass production type over here. So we're going to do the entire cold kunai combo. We're going to hit with the single, and we're going to hit with the double, and we're going for the melee with the dual cold blades. So there's the one. The dual's going to hit, and it's dead. If it's somehow not dead, your neutral swing hits the ground. Your side swing, I don't think does. Yeah, it won't. It won't hit the ground. Your downswing is a large AoE. It just basically tornadoes you forward and causes a lot of disruption damage. It will hit the ground, and also, if you know the enemy around this corner right here, say if I'm getting pushed by the prototype Gundam over at D, I could just spin around the corner. That's a bad example, but the thing is, the hitbox goes around the corner. I just spin around the corner like this and knock it down, and you won't see anything coming. So, remember, single kunai allows you to stagger, allows for easier to land with the double kunai, and then going for the triple melee swing because you're able to close the gap, so on and so forth. This thing is very deadly to supports, as all raids are, but this Efreet, particularly once you can master the kunai themselves, becomes a very, very huge threat for the enemy team due to the double cold blades doing still a ton of damage to even general types, seeing how they don't lose any damage throughout the combo. So yeah, the Efreet Nacht is very fun. It is probably my second favorite Efreet. I don't want to say favorite. Gimmick-wise, I would say the Efreet Kai is still my favorite Efreet, but this speed with the Efreet Nacht is definitely second to it, with a close runner-up from the standard general type Efreet. So I say if you can afford to get the suit, give it a go. Might not be for everyone. Its stealth passive and aggressive stop and go gameplay can be kind of a tricky and kind of frustrating, I can assume, to some newer players. But if you're an experienced player, and especially if you don't have this and you main raid, I highly suggest picking this up, because this is a very fun raid to just go in there and decimate a support, get out, stun a blue on the way out, and just get away free. It's basically a better Pixie, really. It's self-sufficient, unlike the Pixie. So, there you have it. The Efreet Nacht. Oh! Another thing is, this is this is basically not the Efreet Kai, not the general type of Efreet, so therefore, this is like the DS. It does not have a dodge roll. It has maneuver armor and force injector, but it has 60 thrusters. Therefore, it's got a lot of thrusters before you put thruster parts on. Just keep that in mind. And now to finish off the video, um, leave your thoughts in the comments. What suits you guys might want to see. Think Efreet Nacht has anything else I didn't cover? Leave in the comments. If not, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'm gonna put out more of these videos. My next one after this one is going to be for, I think, Dazaku 2R1, the high mobility type the earlier high mobility type. And yeah, thank you, and see you in the next one.